Welcome to your City Commission meeting. Please turn off or silence all cell phones during the meeting. The meetings are televised every day on Channel 2 at 6 p.m. and midnight and available for your viewing pleasure on YouTube. At this time, we'll call the meeting to order. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by the silent meditation.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, good evening. Let's start with old business, consideration of the previous meeting minutes from February 11th, 2025. I'll just need a motion.
Madam Mayor, I move we accept the minutes of the meeting from February 11th.
Second.
All right. We'll start voting with Commissioner Hingla.
Aye.
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 All right, motion carries. Let's begin with new business, and we'll start with public comment. Public comment is items that are not listed on the agenda or receipt of petitions. Public comment is limited to 3 minutes per speaker. In the interest of time, we ask that groups wishing to speak limit their public comment to one presenter. This is an opportunity for the City Commission to hear the thoughts of the public prior to conducting official city business. The mayor, city commissioners, and the city staff have been asked not to respond to those giving public comment, and no action will be taken by the commission on public comment items. The mayor may direct staff to follow up with specific individuals after the meeting. When speaking, please state your name and address. A sign-up sheet has been provided, and Sarah, has anyone signed up to speak tonight?
We do. We have two. First up is Annette Hamilton.
Awesome. Come on up, Annette.
Good evening, and thank you, Commissioners, for your time. And
Can you state your address?
yes, my address is 225 Potawatomi Street in Leavenworth, Kansas, and thank you again for your time. I didn't see where it was listed on there, but last week, but we had the snowstorm about dealing with the homeless situation, and I hadn't heard what the city was proposing, but I spent 6 years homeless in the last decade and still suffering from some of the situation that got me into the homelessness and some of the situations of trying to get completely off of subsidies and homelessness and everything like that. And so I have a vested interest because Leavenworth is my hometown, and also because what we're doing for the homeless is wholly inadequate. Okay, but not only that, it is a blight on our community, and it's also not serving all the residents' needs here because of the homeless being left to defecate in the city streets, to use drugs and alcohol and lay in the city streets. It's not a situation that's really ideal for anyone, for lack of a better term, but I have been looking at proposals of other communities across the nation that have been dealing with this program, that have programs that deal with this situation way better than Leavenworth does, way better than a lot of what Kansas City's doing. But Kansas City, there are certain areas of Kansas City that could really come together and kind of address the homeless needs in this area. I was just looking at one that's really successful that was kind of what I was thinking about. It's down in Tulsa, and it's called the John 316 Project, and it's a campus, almost like barracks, where they have women on one side, men on another side, and these are people who want to not be on drugs and alcohol, but actively want to be trained to have jobs, but not only be trained for jobs, but also be trained for being able to manage their own lives, which is sometimes what I struggle with having the NA available to me when I'm off of work, having AA or things like that available when you're off of work, and as well as like Celebrate Recovery and just some Bible-based programs that are available to people, and having them all there at one place where people can eat and then go to a meeting and things like that, because sometimes the way that we're dealing with the situations is people are isolated and, I'm so tired, I don't want to go to a meeting. But if the day is scheduled and the program's scheduled around being able to do that, plus what they're also doing is they're also doing horticulture and agriculture and animal husbandry, to where it's not only feeding the people, but it's also allocating funds for itself into feeding the community when it's putting food back into the community, into the local stores to help keep the food costs down. I think it's a really great program. There's a few other programs like that around the country, and I think it would be really worth looking into with not just Leavenworth, but many people come together to try and put that together for the Kansas City as a whole to deal with the homeless program. Thank you very much for your time, and have a very blessed day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up, we have William Roger.
Hi, William.
Hi, my name is William Rogers, 73rd Yecker, KCK. Over the next month, you guys are going to be tasked with a very important decision that's going to actually, it's going to mean life or death for some. And when I say that, I mean that wholeheartedly. You're going to be asked to vote on the Core Civic ICE facility. And I can tell you that I'm here tonight. I'm just a blue-collar guy, but the things that I've seen and experienced, nobody should have had to see or experience. The individuals that gave their lives in there should have never had to give their lives in there. I'm here for the Dylan Reeds, the Wilson, the Leverings that were beat. In fact, Levering, an officer that was beaten and stabbed, I don't know how many times, just had her 16th surgery. She'll never work again. She's not the only one. When we talk about the few news reports that come out and you guys read it, and I get that, you don't know, right? This small amount. When I was stabbed, I asked, should I make a police report? No, we don't need to. That inmate was moved 2 days later, swept under the rug. Everything is kept in there. When I had my head split open all the way across the back, nobody knows about that. Nobody knows about the 14 staples. Nobody knows that they were short-staffed that day and I had no help come for me. Nobody knows I lost my radio. Nobody knows I didn't have eyes on me. I'm it. I speak for them. Don't worry about me. But when you make this decision, I want you to make it for them. This ain't a dollar decision. This ain't an immigration issue. This is a human rights issue. I'm not against detention centers. I'm not against prisons. But I am a firm believer that if we're going to house them, we have to do it in a safe, reasonably safe manner. And I can tell you because of staff shortages, it was not done there. In 2017, I asked that you guys read the Department of Justice audit. Anybody can Google it. I asked that you read that, and those statements. Core Civic always says that this is just the ACLU going after them or somebody trying to give them a bad name. The 2017 audit by the Department of Justice was done by the very people that they had a contract with, the marshals, I guess, ultimately. And it got worse after that. It got worse. I can also tell you that on my last code I called on the yard, I by myself on the yard monitoring these inmates, situation got bad, so I called a code. 2 people showed up to help me, 2 people. So how are they going to do it better? And do you want to give them that chance? They've had that chance, and they didn't perform. My phone number is 913-271-4157. I've sent some of you, if not all of you, emails, and I appreciate it because I'm sure you get a lot of crazy emails. I wanted to come and put a face with that email. I still see Dylan Reed at night. I did CPR on that kid. That kid should have never died.
Thank you, William.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Anyone else? Nope. All right. Okay, next up is our general items. Consider approval of special event street closure policy.
Thank you, Mayor. Only minor corrections from our last discussion on this, including a couple of grammatical errors and an oversight that we removed. Other than that, the meat of the policy proposed stays the same. Just a quick rundown of that. Essentially, it will be the applicant's responsibility to notify the city up to 8 weeks or more in advance of the event. This would give staff plenty of time to process it and then notify impacted businesses and residents. The applicant would be required to get signatures of all impacted businesses if able, and then they would be required to either mail or in some other way provide a letter to all impacted residential units notifying them of the proposed closure. Once if it is ultimately approved by the city, then the city will notify all of the impacted businesses and residents of the approved closure policy, or the approved closure. We will then, the city will make arrangements to drop off barricades at a designated location at the time of the event. The event coordinator is responsible for setting up the barricades and taking them down again at the end of the event and returning them to the designated location where the city will collect them from there. Those are kind of the larger points of that, but then, like I said, after we've had the last couple discussions, we haven't made any changes.
Has, we heard from any other business owners or anybody reached out? Okay.
I have a question. This is first consideration?
No, so this is just a policy, so this is just approval.
Okay, it's listed in here. Okay, thank you.
Commission, do you have questions for?
No.
No questions.
All right, with that, I'll take a motion.
I move we accept the special event street closure policy as presented.
Second.
All right, we'll begin voting with Commissioner Martin.
Aye.
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 All right, motion passes. All right, update on unsafe and dangerous fire damaged structure at 3851 Tonganoxie Drive. Hi there, how are ya?
Good evening.
Good to see you.
Yep, update, just last week, my staff has approved the rough-in inspections, so the place is ready to be sheetrocked now. The exterior is not painted, but it's rebuilt, the garage area, so I'm recommending that we go ahead and release the funds back to the property owners that we're holding.
Sounds good.
Commission have questions? All right, well, I'll take a motion.
I move
that the city commission has determined that the structure is no longer considered unsafe or hazardous, and that we authorize the return of the insurance proceeds to the owner.
Second.
All right. Begin voting with Commissioner Hingela.
Aye.
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 All right, motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mayor, would you mind me taking a quick second to discuss the administrative functions of that policy?
Absolutely.
When bringing this by David, so if you think it's a bad idea, it's all his fault, but, no, David brought it to our attention that, he doesn't think that statutorily we need to bring these to you for final approval and that they can just be done administratively. Discussing it with staff who've been here for some time stated that used to be the case, and at some point they were told to bring it to commission, so they did. If it is okay with all of you, we're fine with conducting that administratively, unless you still feel the need to see them.
How does the commission feel?
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I'm about to say.
Yeah, I guess my only thought would be, I mean, if there's maybe a summary or anything like that, end of year, just a little capper or something like that, noting.
Yeah.
We'll certainly still notify you of those buildings that are under that process, and how they turn out.
Right.
We just
We
wouldn't
won't
bring.
need to vote on it then.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm cool with that.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Resolution B, 2391, Annual Report from Stormwater 2024.
Thank you, Madam Mayor and Commissioners. This item is a request to adopt Resolution B 2391, approving the 2024 KDH report for stormwater activities. The draft report was reviewed by the Commission on February 11th and is available on the city's website. We've not received any input or concerns from residents regarding the report. The final report includes a statement that the city has reduced pollution in accordance with the requirements to the maximum extent practical. Staff's opinion is the city has met the intent of the regulations to reduce pollution through the 6 minimum control measures. The report is due to KDHE February 28th. And just recommend the City Commission adopt Resolution B 2391 supporting this report. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
We're cutting that one close.
Yeah, 3 days to go.
I think last year was like on the 27th.
Oh,
It
so
was
you're
much
early.
closer.
Commission have questions?
No.
All right, then I'll take a motion to approve the annual report.
I move for the city commission to adopt resolution B-2391, supporting the final report.
Second.
All right. All right, we'll begin voting with Commissioner Martin.
Aye.
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 All right, thank you. All right, next up, Resolution B 2392, Section 8 Management Assessment Program Certification. Hi there. How are you?
Good.
I like your coat.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm here today to get your approval for the CMAP, which stands for the Section 8 Management Assessment Program. It's an assessment of the Section 8 program. It goes to HUD every year. I'm here every year to get this done. And if you guys have any questions about the program, feel free to ask. But otherwise, this is just kind of a reporting of what we did last year.
No changes from last year, really? Big changes?
No, ma'am. Other than we did gain for 2025, we have gained 15 more HUD VASH vouchers, which are for our homeless veterans.
That's
So that will help the domiciliary and, the whole VA process of getting their homeless housed.
Oh, good. Okay, that's awesome. And they're specifically for veterans?
Yes, ma'am.
That's good. Does the commission have any questions?
No.
Looks good to me.
I'll take a motion.
Madam Mayor, I move to adopt the attached resolution submitting the CMAP certification to HUD.
Second.
All right. I'll begin the vote with Commissioner Hengela.
Aye.
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 All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good one.
All right, next up, Resolution B 2393, Resolution of Support for the Leavenworth Water Works Federal Grant Application. I believe Joel's here.
Joel is here. I'll give you guys a quick background, and then he
You can come
can.
sit up here, Joel. You can get the VIP treatment here. The cushy chairs.
He is a VIP.
Nothing but the best here at the city.
So Leavenworth Waterworks has approached us, and not just us, but many of their community partners here, trying to get all hands on deck. They have a couple of projects, one each basically, at each of their water treatment facilities that they're looking to get federal grant funding for. These are projects that would greatly extend the sustainable life of these facilities for future generations. And as far as staff is concerned, obviously, providing clean, safe drinking water for decades to come is a high priority. And if this grant money was awarded, it would really assist keeping water rates low for the Waterworks company and for rate users. So as far as staff is concerned, I will turn it over to Joel for any questions or more discussion. But staff does recommend approval of this resolution of support. I will also add that this resolution of support does not commit any city dollars.
Yes, we're actually making two applications for two different types of grants under the bipartisan infrastructure law. Both of them require as much community support as possible to garner that. We actually attempted this last year, but didn't have the time to really get out to the community. So we're working it a little harder this year. We've had a number of organizations give us support, businesses, so forth, and we are asking the same of the city commission to try to help us out, because basically we're looking at rate increases of 10 to 15% for the next 5 years after this one to be able to afford to do the work that we have to do there. So it all kind of hinges around on the riverbed being degraded. The channel is cutting deeper and deeper as it goes and leaves our intake on the north plant high and dry. Right now it's the gauge is 0 is our intake, our inlet, and right now it's at -2. Wow. There's probably still 11 trillion gallons of water going by the town every day, but we can't get to it because of that. We have to put in exterior pumps, pump into the intake and then to the plant. So it's a little
Wonky.
inefficient.
Wow. So,
Inefficient is the polite way of putting it. The south plant, we have the problem down there for reliability that there's only a single treatment plant. It was built that way 50 years ago with the intent to add the additional treatment later on. And well, it's finally getting till later on. That's kind of the way we work in decades rather than in just years. But as I said, we were just simply looking for your support, and we've asked that you pass this resolution. I think I wrote it pretty well, that it puts all the responsibility on us, all the problems are ours, but we're asking for your support.
$50 million. That's a big-
Actually, we need about 57, but we've got some coming in the bank already by that time, so. Yes, it's extremely expensive. I remember the days when a water treatment plant could be built for $2 a gallon per day. Now it's up in the neighborhood of 8 to 10.
Wow.
How much grant support do you think you can possibly get percentage-wise to support the project?
50% maybe. We would be in pretty good shape at that point, but as much as we can possibly get.
Just to be clear, when you said the rates would rise 10 to 15% over 5 years, did you mean over 5 years or did you mean per year?
Per year.
So up 10 to 15% each year.
Per year to get to the point where we can afford to do the work. Yes, sir.
Should the grant funding not be awarded.
Should the grant funding not be obtained. If we get the grant funding,
Clarification.
that changes
You're
things.
scaring Ed.
Anywhere, any amount we get will change that figure, of course.
Okay.
The problem we've had is the last few years, we have had some pretty healthy rate increases for retail customers. And it's been an inflation, and what's been the result of COVID. Our prices for chemicals, which we're probably at $1 million now for each year that we spend on chemicals just to clean the water. It's gotten somewhat ridiculous, but we're still actually, believe it or not, have some of the lowest rates in this area of Kansas.
So,
That doesn't help the people that have to pay it, but it's better to know that we are in the lower end.
That is true.
that's good to look at perspective. So to be clear, if you get $25 million in grant money, you would assume then that the rates will, as far as you know, stay flat for the unforeseen future.
No, you
They would go up
raise.
probably in the 4 to 5% range.
You have
to be
to
able
raise.
because we would have to debt finance the remainder of the project.
Okay. I wasn't sure when you said it would change, the number would change, so, yeah, I didn't know that.
If we get $20 million that we don't have to pay back, if it's 25, whatever that number is, we don't have to pay it back. And we're hoping to get some money because, let's face it, we've got a lot of federal facilities here between the penitentiary, the VA, they're a couple of our pretty big customers. And we are trying to get our senators and congressional representatives, get their attention, get their assistance in getting this money.
Hopefully we can get back to those $2 days.
I don't think we're seeing that.
All right, any other questions for Joel?
No.
Nope.
All right, with that, I'll take a motion to support Waterworks.
I move support of Resolution B 2393, resolution of support for Leavenworth Waterworks federal grant application.
Second.
All right. We'll begin voting with Commissioner Martin.
Aye.
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 All right.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Hope you get it.
Yeah,
So do I have to pay
Yeah.
the rates too.
that's right.
All right, next up is Resolution B 2394, setting public hearing for unsafe fire damaged structures. Did we just take care of that? No, I'm kidding.
That was just one.
We recently received checks for 3 different structures that were damaged by fires. Resolution B 2394 will set April 22nd as the public hearing date to start the process with those 3 structures. If you have any
So-
questions, I can,
2024 Miami, 1425 Grand Avenue, and 1933
Yes, ma'am.
Miami. Does anyone have any questions?
No?
All right, well, let's take a motion to approve, set the public hearing date.
Yep, Madam Mayor, I move to adopt the resolution number B 2394, setting April 22nd, 2025 as the date for the public hearing regarding the unsafe structures.
Second.
All right, thank you. We'll begin voting with Commissioner Hengler.
Aye.
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 All right, thank you. All right, now we're under bids, contracts, and agreements. Consider award of study and design services for the 2025 switchgear replacement project.
Again, thank you, Madam Mayor and Commissioners. The existing 15 kV switchgear was installed at the wastewater treatment plant in the 1970s and is becoming obsolete. This poses significant risk due to the difficulty of obtaining replacement parts and the manual nature of the switchgear. The switchgear system at the facility is responsible for managing power distribution from 2 separate feeds provided by Evergy. A feed can fail any time, usually in bad weather and at night, and it can be difficult to get a licensed electrician to the plant on short notice. Until the switch occurs, the plant is down. The new switchgear will perform this switch automatically. Black & Veatch has been involved with the plant's design along with modifications and studies for decades. Their in-depth knowledge of our plant's infrastructure and operations will be invaluable in developing an effective and tailored solution. The allocation of $840,000 has been earmarked in the 2025 CIP, and that's to cover the cost of this design as well as the installation of the equipment. Staff recommends the City Commission approve the study and design from Black & Veatch for $226,750. And Mr. John Keller from Black & Veatch is here this evening if you have any questions.
Commissioner, do you have questions?
No?
So obviously, these things last a long time, hopefully.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
I mean, if it was here before I was born, then.
It wasn't here before I was born.
No comment.
All right, and this was in the CIP, so,
Right.
all right.
Yes.
All right, well, I'll take a motion to,
I move that the city commission approve the study and design from Black & Veatch for $226,000 and $226,750, not to exceed.
second. All right, second. All right, we'll begin voting with Commissioner Martin.
Aye.
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 All right, motion passes 5-0. All right, consider award of supplemental design services amendment for the 10th and Limit project. I'm so excited for this.
Yes.
We get a lot of complaints about this intersection.
I'm one of them.
Yes.
This project is actually funded in federal fiscal year 2025 and 2026. Based on our submittal, the city did receive an offer letter from KDOT stating that we were eligible up to $1 million in funding to cover the cost of the improvements. A design services contract was awarded to Merge Midwest on May 14th of 2024 in the amount of $150,343.62. The original scope and fee assumed easement acquisition from one property, along with limited storm sewer work. As the design progressed, it became clear that we needed additional right-of-way on all 4 corners to do the ADA ramps properly, as well as to relocate some of the failing storm sewers in the area. So there's design fee supplement for $19,738.50 was submitted by Merge Midwest, which brings the total design to $170.82 and 12 cents. Funding is available in the Grant Matching Capital Projects Fund. And at this point of the design, we do not anticipate any additional supplements being needed.
Okay.
Staff does recommend the City Commission approve a supplemental design services agreement with Merge Midwest for the safety improvements at the intersection and 10th and Limit in the amount of $19,738.50. Be happy to answer any questions. We did include a schematic in your package. Basically, it's all AD upgrades, storm sewer upgrades, and we're adding a southbound right turn lane if you're heading south on Lemon Street, and all new traffic signals.
Are we getting a new light there?
Yeah, all new,
Yes.
black powder coated, illuminated street light, or the signs, it'll be really nice.
Yay. And it's gonna have a walk button for the
Correct.
kids?
You'll have
Okay.
pedestrian.
Good.
Good.
Yeah, I go that twice a day at drop off at Warren Middle, and the light always wins, not me. So I'm excited about this project. Commission have any questions?
No.
I don't know for sure that it's always gonna be for you then, when we get the new thing done. You might still hit a red light once
I
in a
know,
while.
that's okay, it's just the backup. Yeah. It's the backup. And the buses that go through, I don't think they make it. Okay, well, I'll entertain a motion to,
I move that approval of a supplemental design services amendment with Merge Midwest Engineering for the improvements to the intersection at 10th and Limit in the amount not to exceed $19,738.50.
Second.
all right. I'll begin voting with Commissioner Hengela.
Aye.
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 All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, first consideration ordinances for a special use permit to allow a two-family dwelling at 11112 Spruce Street. There you are. I don't know why I'm looking at
Good
Sarah.
evening.
There you are.
Yeah, good evening.
Hi.
So we do have first consideration in front of you tonight for an ordinance, a special use permit to allow a two-family dwelling unit in an existing single-family residential home. So this came to staff after the property owner applied for a building permit. And it was through that building permit process, we came to find out that they wanted to make it a two-family unit. So we let them know the special use permit requirements, and they did pursue that option. It went to Planning Commission earlier in this month, and the Planning Commission did recommend approval 4-0. This has been noticed, and we have not received any public comment on it. And then additionally, staff did find that the special use permit requirements were met for the criteria listed in the staff report. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer.
So it looks like there's gonna be a front entrance and then a back entrance? Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Door here, B, that's the front. I got it, okay.
Yeah, so that was actually something that was discussed at the Planning Commission meeting, is making sure that it had appropriate access. So that is something that was determined to be an okay.
And they're just gonna, who gets the garage, the driveway?
So there's additional parking.
Oh, in the back,
rear.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay. Does the commission have any questions?
No, just consensus.
All right, I'll take a motion.
It was consensus.
Consensus, oh, do we all agree?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, moving on to consent agenda.
Madam
Commissioner
Mayor,
Martin, that's you.
I do move to approve the claims for February 7th, 2025 to February 20th, 2025 in the amount of $1,272,027.58. Net amount for payroll number 3 effective February 7th, 2025 in the amount of $424,072.75. No police and fire pension.
Second.
All right. We'll begin voting with Commissioner Hengela.
Aye.
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 All right, thank you. Okay. Do you have anything for us tonight, Scott?
Yeah, I thought maybe give you guys an update on Core Civic, since that's the
Hot topic.
news of the day. I know you guys have all received, most of you at least have received some phone calls from residents and people kind of curious what's going on. For starters, I certainly want to, let you all know that we are here as a service, that if you have questions you can't answer, send them to us. We're happy to answer them for you. But to help you answer some of those questions, we have typed up a press release, so to speak. Mayor Pittman and Penny assisted me with writing that. And I'm going to email that to you here this evening. I wanted to get final sign off from the mayor before I sent it out. We will post that to our Facebook, to our website, share it wherever we want. You can feel free to share it wherever you want. It should help answer some of those questions. The long and short of it is, so the special use permit, we have told them they need to get a special use permit. They have officially applied for that as of last Friday. They officially submitted that application. So we have to have, are required to hold a public hearing. So due to our public hearing notice requirements, that is set up for a planning commission meeting on Monday, April 7th. Planning Commission will hear that, and then they will recommend approval or denial, like any other special use permit you guys have seen. And so at the end of April, I think April 29th is the date, you will have first consideration for that, regardless of whether they recommend approval or denial. And then you will have a second consideration at the end of May. So since that is a semi-judicial process, everybody's required by state law to vote based on those golden factors that we will go over with you and see if they qualify for that. We haven't reviewed that yet, and that hasn't been through the public hearing. Can't tell you one way or the other on that at this moment. There has been some miscommunication regarding the March 11th City Commission meeting. There is no big city input event on March 11th, despite what has been printed in some outlets. There will be a regular City Commission meeting on March 11th where the city, basically staff, will be asking you to allow me to go into, and staff, to go into negotiations with CoreCivic and with ICE as part of a intergovernmental service agreement. All that does is you are authorizing me and David and staff to have conversations with those people. And we will keep you abreast of those conversations. You will ultimately decide yes or no on any of it. So I will make no decisions, staff will make no decisions, the City Commission will make all of the final decisions. I want to make that very clear. And also, I want to make it clear that throughout March and April, we will be bringing items to you that are related to the CoreCivic project. These are to gauge interest from you, to get direction from you on how you want staff to proceed. Ultimately, no final decisions will be made until, at the very minimum, that special use permit hearing at the end of April, because everything will be tied to that special use permit. So if for whatever reason some things get through, others don't, and the special use permit doesn't get approved, then everything else falls by the wayside. So we got to wait for that special use permit anyways. Some things will be on the agenda. I'm sure we want to make sure that the public has plenty of opportunities for public comment. As part of what that press release aims to achieve is to say when people will have those opportunities. Obviously, people are always welcome to come to a regular City Commission meeting anyways and speak their mind. But we're trying to make that as open as possible. So again, we'll send that to you guys out. Feel free to dispense it as you wish. If you have any further questions, reach out to me. Is there anything that you're confused on at the moment that I can help with, or?
Did CoreCivic not have a special use permit before?
They did not, no,
Okay.
but they were, to our knowledge, they were operating legally, so they weren't doing anything wrong. Our ordinances just changed to require them to get one.
Is CoreCivic doing any kind of public presentations to the general public?
To my knowledge, not so far, not to my knowledge. We have impressed upon them at the staff level that we believe that would be a good idea.
Okay.
I think the more they hear it from others, probably the better.
Okay.
But we don't know of one today.
Okay, thank you.
And Scott, just to be clear, sorry, trying to follow dates there, you said in March, we're going to be deciding whether or not to give you the permission to get into negotiations on what was the agreement called again?
An IGSA.
Okay,
And we will
okay.
certainly, of course, during that meeting, explain to you what that is, what you're agreeing to and all that. And that's where I need to converse with David, because he's done some research on that. And he will help, and David doesn't know this yet, but he will help us lead that conversation and help you understand that process a lot better.
So, no, I appreciate it. My only thought is that if everything hinges on a special use permit and there's no decision that's been made on that yet, I would think agreeing to enter into any conversations is premature. That's what I would offer up.
And that it certainly would be up to you guys to, that is an option that is absolutely available to you.
Okay.
So Griff's saying there's no reason to do the IGA
It's completely up to you guys. Yes, you can wait. You
till
can.
after the permit's
I
approved?
mean, the aspects of that could color the conversations on a special use permit, of course, as well. So they do kind of, the information could be related on that. How those conversations and what those types of details require and what they might have might impact any ultimate decision on whether an SUP is granted. So I think probably, again, now that I'm hearing on this, my guess would be that, anything like that will probably be tied together in some way And whether it's the IGSA comes first would be contingent on a zoning happening, or zoning or special use permit would be contingent on that. But you probably might want to have some of that information at least available.
So my only thought, and I appreciate that, David, my only thought is thinking about it. I personally don't like the idea of something happening ahead of time that could possibly impact whether or not we would approve or disapprove a zoning permit. So I don't know. That's my thought.
So I would, and that's absolutely an option. We will provide that option to you on the 11th. I would still recommend we at least have that conversation so staff knows how to proceed, since this wasn't an official agenda item tonight, but certainly something to consider.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm pretty sure that every one of us up here have gotten an invitation from Core
Oh,
Civic
thank you for, bringing that
to
up.
attend an open house on Saturday, the 1st of March at 12 o'clock. If 3 or more of us should decide to attend it, it is city business, and there would be a quorum there.
That is correct. Thank you, Commissioner Ingula, for bringing that up.
You
Yes.
have to announce that.
That is correct.
yeah.
So I am asking if you guys, just let me know if you plan on attending, if it helps you all out. I am asking staff not to attend that meeting, not for any reason other than that we will have other opportunities to have those conversations with Core Civic. They've already offered to allow the city to access the facility with them at some point for fire and police tours to get a better understanding of that, and we can get the city commission involved in those meetings. So I think, it is not there's no statement behind that other than that I think the city will have other opportunities. We'll step aside and let other people have those conversations with them.
Yeah, I won't be there. I'll be out of town.
I won't be there.
Yeah, I won't be.
So we won't have a quorum.
No.
No.
A difficulty with that might also be that if there's going to be a quorum for such a body, it would have to be open to the public.
Right.
Correct.
So,
Right.
And I don't,
That's true.
from the invitation that I received, I don't know if they called it a, quote, open house. I don't know how open it is.
It's my understanding it is by invitation only.
Okay.
Yeah, so, no commissioners will be
And
there.
I will state for the record, the city had no involvement in that meeting and the invite list. We did not provide them who to invite or anything like that. This is entirely on them to host and put that together. We had no input.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, Scott. Anything else?
That's all I have, unless you have questions for me. Oh, I do have one more thing on, not related to Core Civic, but somewhat sad, but also good news. Ariane Burgoon, our HR specialist in HR department, has decided to retire in a couple of weeks. She has some commitments to her mother who's ailing that have become a full-time position for her, and she would like to spend the rest of her days with her. So we're going to lose her and we're going to miss her, but wanted to let you all know that that she did tell us that this week. So
What's her last day?
last day, March 12th.
12th, okay.
All right. Can you send something out if you guys do?
Yeah.
She's asked for a quiet event, but I'll
Yeah,
let you guys know.
okay.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Well, we'll say it quietly.
Yeah, okay. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Cool.
Chris,
Nothing on
yeah.
this side? No?
Yeah, I have something. This is just some things that I've been thinking about, and this doesn't have anything to do with, well, it does have to do with our city, but it doesn't really have anything to do with what we've talked about tonight. But I just want to say, and I'm reading off this because I stayed up in the night the other night thinking about it. My heart goes out to our citizens, our federal workers, the lifeblood of our community, who have been threatened, laid off, offered buyouts to quit, and look for another job out of fear of their jobs being eliminated. I've seen shrinking and swelling in our government services over the years, but nothing like this. Generally, downsizing has been done by attrition, by eliminating positions when employees leave or retire, and even offering bonuses for early retirement, and then consolidating those services under fewer qualified employees. I even had that happen to me when I was working for another company. This happens all the time. But this time, the underbelly is being cut out, our youngest and brightest, the families with children, and recent veterans who came to work for the government in our community. I'm speechless, except I'm making a speech here, so. I have contacted my U.S. congressmen and senators to please do something, to have some compassion. I agree that there is government waste, but downsizing needs to be done in an orderly manner, respecting the dignity of those who work so hard for us. Thank you for listening.
Good.
Thank you, Nancy. Appreciate that. Ed, do you have anything?
No? Oh, enjoy the warm weather,
Yes, it is nice out.
but winter isn't over yet.
Ed,
By the calendar,
don't say that.
by the calendar, winter isn't over yet.
Jermaine.
Nancy, thank you for those beautiful words. I just want to say God bless and Jesus loves you and hope you have an amazing week.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Nancy. And then, I don't know if we put it out, but I want to put it out that April 15th, we are having the State of the City Address. So save the date. It's a time for everyone to come together and learn about the great things and the successes of the city and some things we still need to improve on. But that's going to be during the day at Riverfront Community Center and more to follow. But I just want to put a save the date out there for everyone. April 15th, starting at 11:30.
Tax day.
On tax day, so you can't forget it.
You have anything about St. Patrick's Day?
Oh, it's St. Patrick, I don't have anything, but St.
Oh,
Patrick's Day is
yeah.
coming up.
The parade.
Is anybody riding in the parade? I know Nancy and I are.
I'm gonna be in it.
You're gonna be in it? Okay. Do
I'll
you
be
want to
marching
take our
in it.
mopeds?
You'll be
Yes,
marching with the Knights of
Knights of
Columbus.
Columbus. I'll be marching
You
with the
gonna be
Knights of
Knights of
Bring
Columbus.
your kids down.
Are you gonna be in town?
I will not be at the parade this year.
Oh,
no.
okay.
Is it too
on a
late to sign up?
weekday,
And
yeah.
if not, who do they need to sign up to?
Oh, sign up at www.lvirish.com.
Yes.
So, all right, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All right, bye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.